Good morning. Welcome to Anything is Possible. 2024 edition here. Daniel Barry, good morning. Tammy, Shark member, Tammy and Ray, welcome in. Thanks again for the sharpening stone. Appreciate that very, very much. I will be putting out a video on that sometime this week, and we'll get. I'll get learning how to do that the proper way. My knives need a good sharpening. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is Anything is Possible. 99% fishing content, a little bit of hunting and uh, camping and things like that thrown in, but primarily fishing. Um, but we're out here on Lock Ash Reservoir in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. It's about 29 degrees and it's got a good breeze, but we're shielded a little bit right here for now. But we're going to be fishing for carp and trout today. We're going to be working in an hour and a half, so this live will run hour and a half tops. So let me get these lines in the water so we're fishing and not staring at poles. I'm going to start with just power bait on the 2 trout rods, and then we're going to put pack bait with corn on the carp rod. Try not to blind you guys with the headlamp till the sun will be popping up here soon. That's the power bait. If you guys haven't never used it, it's like the egg form of power bait. Try not to blind the neighbors here at the spot with my headlamp. I've got 4-pound fluoro with egg style lead down to a small swivel with a little bit of leader going down to size 8 hook, just a J hook, worm hook. We'll put two beads of power bait on it just so it gives it some loft or whatever. It'll help float it off the bottom a little bit. Still some dying algae out there in January. That's our pack bait recipe right there for the carp. All right, all right. Ooh, it is crisp out here. That breeze will wake you up in a hurry. Whew, 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 whew. Get my gloves on before my hands are useless. Hey, Tommy, you're awake. You're awake. Good morning, good morning. Brandon Outdoor Adventures, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. Dogs did not want to stay sleeping this morning, so early started printing with the 3-day. Awesome. I saw you were 99% done. So what are you guys printing now? On to the next project, or are you just finishing that off yet? Ooh, my hands are cold. Finishing that off, couple of shacks and a tree bridge. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You might have said that. I think I got distracted in the last 2 minutes of your video last night. It was only, I think, like 8 minutes long, but sometimes I start watching videos and I get called away from the other room and I come back and it's like on another channel altogether. I don't remember what I was watching. Yesterday was a long day. We were out on the Susquehanna River. Sun, pretty much, well, we got a late start. It's almost a 2-hour drive. When we got out there, we were chasing walleye and whatever else we could find, but no luck. We've never caught a walleye. I guess it's not the best spot to catch one, but around here it is. Chad, good morning, bud. Welcome in. Welcome in. Here solo today. This is the lake down where I work. I had to go into the office today. We're gonna come down here and see if we can catch a trout or a carp. Usually I have 3 carp rods or maybe 2 carp rods, but today I went with 2 trout and 1 carp. Last time we were here, if you remember this spot, the trout were jumping all over the place and I was trying to catch carp. Not that I care, I'd rather catch a carp, to be honest with you, from here. But the fishing contest, we're in week 5 for the Sunfish King, and trout are trout count. So finally there's a fish that we can actually catch in our area. So we'll try to start competing a little bit more in that tournament. See if we can get into the top 8 before the end and make the playoffs. But we're not going to take it too serious this year. Kevin wants to fish what he wants to fish for and not have to fish for certain species. And that's totally cool by me. You can get burned out going after a fish that doesn't really exist in your area to, you know, you're competing with other people that have them in their, you know, that's their common fish to catch. So that's the way competitive stuff goes. Hope everybody had a good Christmas, good New Year's. I've been sleeping in. I had the flu, or whatever you want to call it. I had it over Christmas. Whole family was sick, so now I'm feeling better. But this is like the first day I had to get up at 5:30. Getting back in the old routine. I tried to set up right behind these 2 trout rods today so I can make it over to the rods in time. Trout are tough to do lives with because they hit it so quick and you got to grab it, you know. within 5 seconds or you miss that fish. Savage Batman, good morning, buddy. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Once we get a little more light, I can turn these lights off and not have this headlamp squeezing my brains. This weekend is going to be I don't know if we'll have a signal, but if we do, we're going to be live a lot from Friday through Sunday. Kevin and I are going up 3 days in the Endless Mountains of Pennsylvania. We rented a cabin that sits on a private pond, and as it is right now, I don't think it's going to be frozen over, which is actually really good because it's definitely not going to be frozen well enough to ice fish on. So if that's, if we can't ice fish, then it might as well be open water. So it's surrounded by trout, like wild trout streams. But the lake itself, the little pond, has catfish and all kinds of stocked fish in it too. So if we can get out there and fish, we're going to be fishing a lot, even through the night. So watch for a bunch of pop-up lives coming up for that. That's this Friday. We leave to get up there. We'll probably be doing some nighttime fishing. The only iffy thing with this is we're supposed to have a winter storm. So as long as we can safely get there, we'll get there. But it could be interesting. Looks like a pretty big storm coming up. But you know how that goes around here. Probably everywhere. They like to talk it up 7 days out, and then as you get closer to it, it's big nothing burger. But we are definitely not afraid of snow. As long as we can safely get there, snow doesn't scare us at all and does not keep us off the water. We have a really good chance of catching a channel cat there, which is what we've wanted to catch a winter channel cat for a long time. Being that we're going to be in a cabin that's literally like 10 feet from that pond, there's no reason we can't sit right on the porch and have bite alarms on those rods all night. So that's going to be part of our plan there. We may even try to do like a mobile live where I put the GoPro. I've never successfully done it yet, or streamed with it. I've played with it, but I may try to stream the live from the GoPro out on the water, and then we'll be in the cabin watching it through our cell phone, so that we can commentate and talk to you guys, and we'll actually be watching the rides outside on the water. I've seen other guys do it, so I know it's possible. So we're going to play with that Friday night, see if we can figure that out. That would be awesome. Especially if it's blowing snow out there. It'd be cool to catch a big channel cat in the middle of a snowstorm. I know it's almost impossible, but we got a good spot to do it. Morning, Lloydies. Happy New Year to you. Welcome in. Trout fishing, carp fishing here. Just got an hour before work, so maybe we set the poles up, see if we can catch anything. New Year's and Christmas is crazy in the line of work that I'm in. I'll be changing work soon though with the job. They're changing over and laying off everybody, but soon I'll be able to talk openly what I did and stuff. But 2024 is gonna be a tough year, I'll say that. Save up. Yeah, walleye fishing. We were out at the, if anyone knows the area, we're out on the Susquehanna River, which goes all the way down to the Chesapeake Bay, which is like the one of the biggest fishing areas or fisheries in the United States. So it's a major, major river. And we were up at Safe Harbor Power Dam, where it's a hydropower plant used to draw in tons of power. We were fishing just underneath that. I mean, the river is just raging lately since we've had all this 3 weeks of flooding. Uh, Damn, I've never saw it that high. It was just kind of insane, really. It's kind of scary standing behind the dam, knowing the pressure it's under. All those hydro units were, there's probably 20 of them there, and I've never seen more than 2 on, and they were like all on. So it's near capacity, I guess. I would guess it is. I don't know. But we could see some fish jumping. Looked like walleye. But Kevin hooked up twice and lost both of them. They're bony mouths. They're not easy to hook. One was big though. One was really a beaut. Kept jumping out of the water. But, I mean, we were in such current that all that thing had to do was get into the river itself, and even without fighting, it was pull and drag. It's tough to get it out of the current. As soon as it gets a little more light, I'm gonna check that big rod carp line. I want to get it tight, make sure it's tight, but I don't want to make it too tight and actually move the pack bait, because you can really screw up your fishing chances by moving that pack bait. So you want to lay it right where it landed and just keep the line tight up to it. By now that pack is off, or at least loose off of the method feeder. And if I were to move that, the method feeder would just pull away from it. With the temperatures dropping the way they've been, the carp aren't going to hit and run so much, so they're not. It's going to be a little trickier to hook them up. Hey, Flatten. Welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. Good morning. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. Tuesday already. Already Tuesday. We're out of here Friday, going out of town. Nice short work week. Anybody out there got fishing plans this weekend? All right, Lloydies, have a good day, bud. Thanks for coming by. I feel like the sun's been coming up forever. It's still dark. It's 6:50. Anyone make New Year resolutions? You guys in the New Year resolutions? Shore fish. Nice. I've been itching to get down to the coast, but it's a 2-hour drive for us. And And the weather's going to be nasty, which I'm sure it is there too. Hard enough for me to catch saltwater fish in the summer, let alone this time of year. Feel like overseas they have better saltwater fishing in the winter than we do. I'll catch you some fish, Lloydies. Don't worry, I'll catch you something here. I feel it coming. They never bite early, but you got to get the bait soaking. So I'll get here to start the clock. They'll come. They usually start biting right when I leave for work. Yeah, you guys have cod there, and we have cod north of us, like up in New England area. I'm down in the Pennsylvania, mid-Atlantic states. If we go up north, I know they've got cod up there, and man, winter's prime time for them. Oh man, that'd be awesome, Chad. We got our, I want to get our boat out there. We got our little 14-footer sitting on our driveway. We didn't move it this year. And Kevin's not a huge boat person yet. He will be, but he likes to run around the shoreline. He doesn't like to be stuck in a boat with Dad. He likes to do his own thing. But we need a bigger engine for it. That's kind of our, once we get a bigger engine for it, we can get him out on the river and do some nighttime flathead fishing with it. Then I think he'll change his mind. Boats are a lot of work, as you know. A lot of work. We may just put it in up at Green Lane again. There's a reservoir by us where if you put your boat in, you get a spot where it stays there all year. Hey, Becca, good morning. Happy New Year. It stinks you got to leave your boat in one place, but it's got like they're afraid of bringing like the zebra mussels into that body of water. So they quarantine it on a rack up there. But the nice thing is it's right there by the water. So you can go drive up there and just back it into the lake, and it's a great lake to fish. Thanks, Becca. It'd be nicer if I had a couple fish in this view, but it's not bad. Except that's 476. That's the highway to hell right there, right into the city. It looks nice though, don't it, this time of day? Yeah, it is kind of cool. I like the way the sky is kind of pushing down. It's going to become a photography channel over the winter. I'm going to just work on beautiful sunrise views. The fishing poles are just here to add some ambiance. Yep, that's right, Chad. That's right. That is one of the best parts of having a boat on the river too. Like there was a fish just jumped real and close there. You can just see it off to the side of the screen. You can see the rings. To keep my eyes on that. I'm out pretty far. Might have to move it in if another one jumps in close like that. DSLR, nice, and use the drones. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I love and appreciate photography. I just can't do it. Just no good at it. I've seen so many beautiful views doing what I've done for my life. It's just insane, beautiful views. And every time I try to photograph them, it doesn't do it justice. It's like you can only take a picture of a piece of the actual view, and I need to see the whole thing. Yeah, my Lyle, my 12-year-old, has a drone. It's not great quality or anything, but it's able to take footage. I'm hoping he'll start doing some aerial photography for us that we can sneak into some videos. But of course, I'm always over water, so it makes me nervous because it's not our first drone. We've lost a couple cheaper ones. I'm afraid to lose the good one. I could see him just sinking it out there in the middle of the lake. Put my headlamp on high. I'm going to be looking at the line on the trout rods, trying to pick up a bite before it pulls on the rod. Got a little slack in that right rod, which is ideal for trout fishing. If it's tight and they're yanking on the rod, you've probably already missed the bite unless they semi-hooked themselves already. Got 6 awesome people in here. Appreciate you guys waking up, coming over, checking out the sunrise with me. Of course, some of you, it's in the UK, it's noon, I guess. Almost, yeah, it'd be noon, almost noon, 11 o'clock. Oh, that middle rod going, or is that the breeze? I think that's the breeze. They are both going, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Hey, good morning, Miss Joan. Welcome in. Happy New Year to you. Anybody got any New Year resolutions they want to admit to, hold themselves accountable to? I'm going to try to be a little bit healthier. I mean, I eat pretty healthy, but I'm going to try to I cut out alcohol, and I need to cut down on what I eat. Even though I eat healthy, I'm still gaining weight. Stuart, good morning, buddy. Welcome in. Happy New Year. Sorry I missed your New Year live yesterday. I saw you going on. We were just getting back from the Susquehanna, fishing out in the cold, windy river. And I came home and I passed out for about an hour and a half on the bed. I was out. Brandon, I never do. I never do New Year resolutions. I never do. And I don't know if it's really a resolution. I stopped drinking the week before. The week before New Year's, I actually stopped drinking completely. And that wasn't like I was like a raging alcoholic, but I enjoyed a little shot of whiskey each night before bed and it helped me calm down. But it just wasn't doing me any good anymore. It wasn't really calming me down anymore. And it's a boatload of calories. And, you know, and you get to my age, you have all kinds of like aches and pains. And it was like, you know, wonder if that's probably not any good for me. So I should probably focus on, you know, adding things that are a little bit better for me. It stinks. I mean, I'm kind of cursed from years of ultra endurance racing. I mean, my problem is I ate 15,000 calories every day for 30 years. And I was, you know, 130 pounds, 124 when I was racing at the top of my game, which is just not normal. You can't really sustain that. And then you go from eating 2,000 calories a day and stop, you know, riding 6 hours a day. And my body just was like, feed me, feed me. So I left my body have a year off after racing. It's been a full year, almost 2 full years now, with no competitive racing at all. And I stopped hard. Like I stopped from racing from pro to nothing. I didn't go down into like the wreck rides. I didn't do fun rides. I just stopped completely. Buddy Biggs, good morning, buddy. Welcome in. Welcome in. Kev is not with me today. He is sleeping at home. I'm getting ready for school. I set up down by where I work, so I gotta just drive around the corner and go to work when this is done. That's awesome, Brandon. Sometimes you can be a good role model without being a good role model, you know what I mean? Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's a nice gold color out here. BZ Collecting, good morning. Good to see you there. Welcome in. Chad's been sober 6 years. Awesome, buddy. Awesome. That's incredible. The longest I've ever gone without drinking was 7 months. I got really, I had like a stomach infection of some sort. And the doctor told me I couldn't drink on top of the medication I was taking. And a lot of it was medications I was taking for my neck injuries and my back injuries. But the real reason I need to like stay in shape is like Kevin is like a legit like athlete when it comes to fishing. Like half the stuff I can't capture on film, but he is all over the place. Like we're climbing mountains to get at some of these brook trout, and we go into some pretty insane areas. And I just like I've always been waiting for him, but I'm not waiting for him anymore. Like now I'm the one breathing. Within 2 years, I went from a professional athlete to like where of course he's getting older and in better shape himself, but I'm definitely you know, I don't want to be holding him up. I'm too young to be doing that, so trying to get back fit again. Yeah, Chad, that's what I'm talking about, man. We used to do a little of that stuff too. I kind of had a reputation racing, like where I was, you know, I, I would I would be racing even in Alaska. Like we'd go checkpoint to checkpoint, and you'd roll into these cabins, and they'd have shine sitting outside in jars and beer, and I did not hesitate to grab a few and just drink them on the trail. Not at all. Yep. Yeah, for me, it's more about fitness and health, and I want to make sure I'm feeling good and able to do what I want to do for a long time. Right, buddy. You know what? Like for me, I think it would be harder for me to like drink moderately. Drink twice a week. I think would be harder for me than to quit. So I don't think it's cool to just quit. Like I'm not saying that. I just think it's, you know, I'm very uh, like I get addicted to things, whether it be fishing or hunting or bike racing or whatever. You know, trying to live balanced is the hardest, I think. Buddy, it's freezing here, man. I am like shivering back here. I forgot my good hat because I had to leave the house quietly while everybody was sleeping. My ears are just about to fall off here. It was 28 when I got out of the car. And it's got a steady. You ever notice some days the breeze is just cold no matter what the temperature is? It's got a cold breeze. I work at 8:30, so I got to be out of here in an hour and 5 minutes, Stuart. I'm going to be out here in an hour and 5 minutes. Light's just starting to come up. The cloud cover really has it dark. I can almost see without my headlamp on now. I got to clean up from last week's mess, Stuart. We usually take in like 20 orders a week. We are like over 100 easily every day for the last 2 weeks. And all those people have some illusion in their head that all that stuff was going to get done before the end of the tax year. There's going to be a whole lot of disappointed rich folk. We just had a fish jump to the left. I'm going to move one of these trout rods. I'm going to throw a piece of corn on and cast it over there so that we can catch whatever that was. And if it's a carp, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun little... Hang on, I'm going to get that in here. My New Year's is to make the same mistake. Yeah, man, go for it, buddy. I got faith in you. I've never caught a carp on power bait, but I have caught trout on corn, so I'm going to put some corn on here. All my years fishing, it's one thing I've never done was catch a trout. Catch a carp on power bait. I don't know why they won't eat it. They eat everything else. How bad's that look? I'm not going to go OCD over my rods not being perfect. Hope you guys can deal with it. Ooh, man, that breeze is cold. Yep. You know, Chad, I like to fish later in the day in the winter. I feel like they don't bite the sun. I feel like you don't get the sunrise bite that you get in the summer. Last week was a perfect example where I fished, got skunked for an hour and a half. And that I would have fished right after that, would have been my ideal time. Kevin went and caught 2 right after that, like within 10 minutes. All right, Chad, take care of yourself, bud. Don't let me hold you up. Incredible Bulk, welcome in. Good to see you. What time is it in Australia? That's one I'm not sure of with time zones. Happy New Year to you. Good to see you. Trying to talk, but my face is like frozen. My mouth is so cold, I'm like slurring my speech. 11:10 p.m. All right. Awesome, awesome. We're just waking up. You're just going to bed. It's pretty wild. Hope you had a good day. Bulk is one of our oldest Shark members. Stuart's an old Shark member as well. We've only been around a couple months, but they've been here since we started up the membership program. All right, sounds good, buddy. Try to catch you a fish. I think I can take this headlight off. Thought for sure I had my knit hat in my car. I do not. All is good over here. Hope all is good with you. Yep, all good here. Back to work. Back to work. You are, Stuart. I mean, you're on top of your time zones, man. You are on top of your time zones. I'll give you that. I used to be able to give you the currencies like you do the time zones. I can tell you exactly what Australian dollars were to US dollars and pounds were to dollars, and I used to have all that stuff memorized. You are correct, sir. 7:13 here. Fish are just about to wake up. This is going to be the only morning live this week, I think, anyway. Unless Kev decides he wants to fish up near the house. But it's a short week. Need to start packing rods and everything for this weekend. We got a big weekend ahead of us, so I got to make sure we're organized and ready to go. Seems like a far time away, but I still got to pack food. I got to pack our stuff. So I figured if I run to the grocery store, that's one night. Run to the tackle shop another, that's another night. And I'm almost out of nights already. So, got to stay organized. V8, welcome in, Sam. Happy New Year. All good, just playing, waiting for a trout bite or a carp bite. We're at a little reservoir by us. I work near here, so it's the only spot I can basically fish before work. I've caught trout and carp here before, so it's not my favorite lake, but it's a convenient spot. And you never know what you're going to pull out of the water, so here we are. And I know there's a ton of uncaught trout in here because they always swim out to the middle of nowhere, and there's not a lot of access here. Maybe half the area you can access legally. So sometimes they'll come by and you'll catch a bunch. You can't boat out here too, so they kind of have free range of this whole waterway. Yeah, thanks, Chad. That was totally up to Kevin. Kevin told me that. we were totally ready to buy plastic. His exact words were, "Tell me how much you're gonna spend on me, and just give me that cash instead." That's what he said. And I was like, "Well, what are you gonna do with the cash?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take a fishing trip." So, all right, well, why don't we just book up a fishing trip instead? So, trying to book a trip that's reasonable in January in Pennsylvania is not easy. And I knew he wouldn't want to wait till July, to go somewhere for his Christmas present. So I said, we'll go somewhere in July anyway, but let's find a spot that we can go to now. And so we found this little, an Airbnb place up in the middle of nowhere, endless mountains. And as soon as I saw the location, I knew there was wild trout in that area just because of tooling around those mountains as a kid. So I was like, all right, I know there's trout. I know we can catch fish. So let's see what else this place has to offer. And we found the little private pond. Like, oh, this is perfect. Even if the pond doesn't work out, we got the trout waters. Yeah, it should be a good time. All right, Stuart. Don't make me block you again. I used up all my brains. Got a little tap there on the big rod. Just a little something. It looked almost like wind, but the other two rods weren't moving when the big rod was moving. I'll bet you that big rod goes soon. Something hit that line. Turtle, winter turtle. Be pretty impressive if I yanked a turtle out of here right now. Stuart, you've seen my turtle fishing capabilities in spring. I mean, they're unmatched. Stuart, we put the axolotl short out last night. The one where we let the axolotl go. He's got his new axolotl now. Lyle's got named him Axe. So that's our newest pet. We had a pet die on Christmas Eve, which is always fun. I was out there. I was out there at midnight waiting for Santa to come. I'm digging a grave for the guinea pig. I buried the guinea pig, and then we got the axolotl a couple days later. That was Lyle's gift. That's what Lyle wanted, an axolotl. So we got him the tank and all the filter and all the equipment, and we set that up. And then like 4 days later, we went out to get the axolotl. So he's doing well. He sits there and eats worms and these pellets, and it's a pretty cool critter. They were only in 2 lakes around the world, and it's these 2 lakes that were connected, and they filled them in to build Mexico City. So ever since then, they're basically extinct in nature. But I think they're starting to like reintroduce them into a couple different lakes around the world. But they do well in captivity. They'll live up to 15 years in captivity. So they're basically a salamander that never leaves the water. They have external gills, and they'll live underwater their whole lives. not need any more new pets. I got a neighbor who watches all our pets when we go on vacation. He was the dude at the bonfire. If you saw her, there was a fish jumped right out where the carp rod is. If you saw our bonfire short, the guy in the background with a can of beer is my neighbor. That's the dude that watches all our pets. Yo, Bulk. Bulk just gave us a super chat. Thank you very much. And a cup of coffee. $4 for coffee. Sweet. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Thanks so much, man. That is awesome. He's the my neighbor Mike's the dude that watches all our pets. So as soon as a pet dies or gets added, I have to text him. So he was probably, you know, slightly, he was probably not as upset as we were at losing our guinea pig. He was probably like, oh, that's one less critter I gotta feed. And three days later, I text him and say, oh, we got a new pet. We got an axolotl. And he goes, instead of like, oh, that's cool, he goes, what does that thing eat? Stuart, I can hardly lift my arms right now, but yeah, we got all the trees are down. We got a little bit more cleanup to do, but the issue was we have all these trees down and we have a bridge that the water flows under it. And that bridge was thousands and thousands of dollars to put in after the last flood wiped it out. So we're trying to prevent that from happening again. So we're trying to keep all the downed trees to a minimum. And with the last storm, we lost a ton of trees. And people from upstream have trees that washed down to us in that flood. So lucky us, we seemed like, you know how creeks and rivers flood, there's always like a big log jam. Well, that log jam happened on our property. They all just piled up. So we had a lot of burning to do, but we got it out of there. Stuart's got the fireworks going. Joan's got the celebratory, what is that thing? I don't know what that thing is. It looks like an exploded ice cream cone, but I think it's like a party popper. It was a Christmas trees. I did throw one Christmas tree up there. That was a huge flame that started. Those things go up. That was last year's Christmas tree I threw on it. I didn't dare burn it. Like our trees, our kids get like weird with our past Christmas trees. So we always sit them down by the chicken coop. They spend the next year of their lives there until they're finally like okay with parting ways with the Christmas tree. This year, Kevin just drug it down and said, throw this on the fire. I was like, all right. Come on, fish. Fish don't even want to come out. See, you know, look at the time now. We've been here almost an hour and they're just starting to surface out there. So this is when they're starting to come on. In the summer, you'll see this before the first light. You'll hear them jumping. But they're definitely later in the winter. Yep, we are the Griswolds. We might be the cousins, actually, Stuart. We might be the ones in the RV and the tenement on wheels in the driveway. All right, trivia question. Who remembers the dog's name? Stuart, you just watched this. You should know this. What is the name of Uncle Eddie's dog? The days are getting longer here. Getting a little bit more sunlight each day. You got it, Bulk. Snots it is. You get over here, Snots. Let Uncle Clark rub your belly. I think the reason this view looks a little wild, those trees were all hedged by a tornado here like 6-7 years ago. The view that you're in now, all those trees were all messed up from that tornado that went through. You see on the sides, like, you know, the regular trees, and in the middle, they're all kind of look like somebody gave them all a haircut. That's right where the tornado went through, right over this lake. I think it sucked all the fish out of it too. Maybe the tornado took all the fish out of here and dumped them somewhere else. Some miscellaneous pond that was loaded with fish. Fishnado. Carpnado. Carpnado came through. There's that dang fish again. Jumped 4 feet out. Look at that. I'm gonna cast right on its head. I'll play. Got nothing better to do, right? I am not looking forward to going in the office. I think everyone and their uncle's sick over here right now. There's so many people that are sick. Yeah, Brandon. I'm sure you're pumped, man. You got some exciting times. Brandon's heading up to Alaska in the spring. It's gonna be awesome, awesome, awesome. Nah, my nephew doesn't come down here. He won't be fishing. Your nephew doesn't come down here. He's only fished this spot 3 times and he's won 2 fishing derbies here. Both times there was a fishing derby down here. He came, showed up, won, and left. Last time, Stuart, you remember that fishing derby? He came here and we only fished for half of it. And we left and fished somewhere else because he's like, I don't think anyone else is going to beat that. And we went and left and fished the other 4 hours for fun elsewhere. We were literally fishing over at Lake Nakamixon when the promoter of this derby called us and said, hey, you guys won. I don't know if you want to pick up your prize later. Oh, wait, let's see. What did Chad say? The river I fish runs into a deeper river, and that's where they go for the winter. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we stopped at a bunch of creeks yesterday coming back from the Susquehanna, and those little creeks and rivers were just total desolate. You could see the bottom. There was just no sign of life. they fall back to the, the deeper holes, that's for sure. Green Lane, we've got them, like, that's why I like that spot we were fishing where Kev caught the 2 carp after I shut the live down. Because that's, like, we know right where they winter and you can hit them from the bank. So it's still slower than summer and spring for sure, but, at least you're on them. You're literally, you can put your bait where you confidently, oh, there we go. I had them on. I had them on there for a minute. I had them on there for a second. These trout are little that they stocked in here, so I went with the size 8 instead of the 6 hooks, knowing that. Yeah, Kev does have some fish whispering skills, that's for sure. He sure does. He just never gives up. I mean, he's always looking, figuring out what baits he can change, and it's never like he just throws in the towel and just sits there and stares at his rod, which I sometimes do. D-Ren, welcome in. Happy New Year. I don't know if anyone's ever taught that boy a thing in his life, Stuart. Ooh, good Lord, you see that? Let's move the other rod over there. Let's just keep moving rods. keep moving until we find these fish, I guess. Move the camera up a little bit. It's so hard to catch trout this way on a live, especially if you're sitting like 5 feet too far behind your rods. But, turn this up a little bit. Hold on. Too far. Oh, that'll work. We had the flies. I had the fly box out on the stream this weekend. I may have decorated a few trees with a couple. It was so tight in the spot. I'm not going to fly fish on a live though anytime soon, this time of year. But I'll definitely get some recorded content. No worries, Sam. Drive safe. Appreciate you listening in. It's awesome. We had the fly box out up in that, well, you're going to see the video come out Friday. But we ended up throwing mostly these 4.5 foot rods just because we were dealing with a bunch of overbrush, and you'll see what we were climbing through. I had to go take the fly rod back to the car. I didn't want to break it. There's no way you could have, no way I would climb into some of these brook trout and wild brown runs with anything more than a $20 rod. You're just crawling over rocks and stuff to get into some of these spots. There comes the sun. We've made it. We've made it to another sunrise. No. I don't know if we lost any. I think I got them both back. The one I did connect on was one of the nymphs I had under a bobber. But I need to get more bobbers. I like those thingamabobbers, those little ones that like got a little air in them. And I only have one left. I need to get more of those. But I got a monster brown on that one. He was pushing 5 inches. Tequila sunrise. Yeah, it's such a tough. Maybe I'll have to come down and do a fly fishing morning. Maybe I'll do that next Monday or Tuesday, Stuart. I'll bring the box down, steal it out of Kevin's room, grab the 5-weight, see if there's anything in close. The only reason they're in close right now is, or that one was anyway, was because of the flood. Otherwise, they'll be right in the middle of this lake where you can't reach them. We were going to go down walleye fishing in Philadelphia and channel cats. We were like packing the car up New Year's Eve, and when I realized that there'd be a parade and our whole city would pretty much be crippled. Kevin would have been so mad if we started driving down and couldn't fish. So that's why we ended up driving 2 hours west, because he was already all pumped up to go catch a walleye. So I said, well, we got to go out to the Susquehanna then. The only other good spot I know. And it's not really a good spot, but another spot you have a chance at catching one. Channel cats. They love the ledges, man. Even the flatties. That's one thing I've realized. It doesn't matter where in the river you are. If you have a channel, it doesn't even have to be the main channel. If you have a ledge, man, they love ledges. And in Philadelphia, the whole river's a ledge basically. Oh, that middle rod get hit. The whole middle, the whole road is basically a fake bank on that river. So they've put a bunch of rocks in there, and there's just a big rock wall that it runs along. And I've seen catfish come right out of that wall before, like there'd be a hole or something, and 2-3 foot channel cat just rolls right out of that hole. I mean, that big 25-pounder Kevin caught on the bass rod down there. In the beginning of the epic live we did down there that night, he caught that one. We were all casting out in the river. He caught that behind the dock, between the dock and the wall, which is 3 feet, a spot 3 feet deep. That's where he caught that 25-pounder. Just laying there, laying up under the wall somewhere, and came out and grabbed his jig. That was such an epic start to that night. Jeff Beal and I were setting everything up for like real catfishing, and he's tooling around. And I think I even yelled at him at one point. I'm like, put down that little rod. And sure enough, he hooks up to this big cat, first cat of the night, right next to the dock. Thought he was going to break that rod in half. Time is it? 7:43. Oh boy. Come on. I want to get skunked. Yeah, we're pretty creative in our fish names over here. Pretty creative. Yeah, that was so epic. And I know Jeff Beal got it on the live that night, and then I had I got the footage of it for the video. It was pretty awesome. We took that rod to the max, and it was, if you watch that clip, I'm yelling at him to max it out, because at that point, like, we had to break the rod or it was going to like get tangled around the pole. That's the mindset he needed to have, because typically you kind of, when you're at your rod's limit and you start backing off. But I knew if he backed off or gave slack at all, it was going to wrap him around the poles. That thing was a beast, especially on this bass rod. And I thought there was no way. I thought he was getting that in. I thought that rod was going to snap in half. But he got it. He got him in. Gonna have to move the camera in a minute. I'm gonna get blinded. At least I'm gonna get blinded. If you're not blinded, I won't be able to see the rods. Where are you driving, V8, when you're able to chat? Hopefully you're heading to the water and not heading where I gotta head in a minute, which is work. Yeah, I gotta move this camera. Oh, what did I miss? Which one went? Which one went? Every time, right? I walk over here and I hear a bell. Get that skunk off the screen. I'm serious. When I move the camera over here, I put my head down. Off to work. Oh, that stinks. Oh, that stinks. But you know what? What are you going to do? Stuart, we are officially raising money for Kevin's GoPro. So when the money comes in now, we're dividing it up. The little money that we get from YouTube, we're dividing it up. We were doing basically like a breakdown of, you know, one of 4 ways for you to buy fishing products for the channels, basically. But I think Kristen and I are going to both be donating our per cuts of the revenue over to Kevin's GoFundMe campaign here, or YouTube Fund Me campaign. We are going to try to get him a GoPro up and running soon. Where do you see Friday's video? If there's not a better example of how out of shape I am and why he needs a GoPro, watching me try to run over rocks to film him catching these trout. I mean, the kid drives me nuts. He always has to be somewhere where I'm not. And then he'll snag and I'll be retying his rod. So if I were just to film what's in front of me, you would just see me retying his rigs 24/7. And he's always in the distance catching trout. But he won't wear it. I try to tell him to wear the camera. But I asked him about it, if he'd wear one if I got him his own. And then he said yes. So I think it's more like him like he doesn't want the pressure of having to do the actual recording for the channel. So if I just tell him that, you know, his is more for fun, he can record whatever he wants and maybe I can use it. And we both know his is the content that's going to be the A-roll anyway. But he doesn't want the pressure, I guess, which I can understand. Oh, that sun is nice. Definitely feels warm. Hey, Donald Lumiton, welcome in, welcome in. Good to see you there. I think I've seen you before on the Philippine American. I forget his real name, but I know he's an angler as well, and I pop into his lives. I think I've seen you in there maybe. But welcome in, wherever I know that name from. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Just chilling with the nice sunrise here in Pennsylvania, and hoping for a trout or a carp before I have to head to work in about 10 minutes. Can't see that. Oh, we tried. We tried. Gosh, every time I try to stare at something, oh, that's the big rod. Yeah, baby, come on, take her down. Whole lot of nothing. You cursed me, Stuart. You cursed me. That was a trout, though. Definitely not a carp. Middle rod just had a hit, too. Start straightening up a little bit as I try to break Stuart's curves here. Always got the Team Kevin people in the chat, you know? Always got Team Kevin. It's going to be a last minute dramatic fish. That's what we need here. YouTube makes this so hard to see. It's so hard to see the time. I can see the first number's a 7. I don't know how close it is to 8. Ooh, do you see that fish right here? Right here. Spring run in. the rest of the pack bait. Might as well at least feed the fish before I leave. Boab Griswold. Come on, fish. Big rod just got a hit. But it's gonna be hard to get a trout on that. If it was a carp, he'd be on it already. One lone goose coming in. Ooh. It's hitting that big rod pretty good. Is he dumb enough to get hooked? He might be. Fun fishing adventures. Good morning and Happy New Year. Welcome in. We're just heading out though. Just killing the last couple minutes here before I got to pack up and head to work. As usual, the rods are starting to go as I'm packing up. Big rod rig is definitely got one playing with it right now. But trout are tiny in here. It's gonna be hard to catch a tiny trout on that big rod. It's hitting it pretty good though. Gonna be some magic here if I can get this thing hooked. Nope, 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 nope. got like a 10% chance of like setting a hook on a trout with this rod, you know. But we're at that time in the live where it's worth a shot because we got to pack up and get going anyway. As soon as my eyes adjust, figure out what time it is here. Yeah, I got to start bringing in that stuff here. So thank you all for coming in. Give you a couple minutes to say goodbye to everybody. You got to slowly start packing up anyway. Big fish just jumped right down there. Never fails. All right, thank you all for coming in. Appreciate you guys, especially joining me in these early morning lives. Getting skunked all the time, but sometimes we get lucky. It's a tough time of year to fish, so it's either this or not fish at all. But this weekend should be a different story though, because we're up in an area that's going to have wild trout, and those trout are active this time of year. So we should have some good content coming this weekend. Friday we got a long video coming out. That's going to be it's going to be a pretty good one. Pretty epic actually. And a lot of natural sounds in that one, not a lot of talking. So if you like that kind of thing, you're in for a treat. Stuart, I'm going to have a lovely day in my office. Hope you guys have a great day. Yeah, Stu's probably going to be live today. If you guys are going live today, I'll be watching for you. A little hard to watch on Mondays and Tuesdays, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll have you running for sure if I can't get you today. But I hope you all have a great day, and catch you on the water next time. Peace out.